Hi guys! This drawing today is an art trade between myself and Elizabeth, and they also made a video of like draw and talk and posted it and everything on their channel. And if you want to watch that, go in the description. It's super good and I love it so much. I actually designed that character in a past draw and talk, so you might actually recognize that character. So that'd be cool. And so this character was a lot of fun to draw. I usually don't do stuff like this where it's like a circle and I don't know, like there's stuff in the circle and blah blah. I guess you'll see later what I mean. And I don't even know why I had her swinging, because, like, I was trying to figure out for so long what kind of pose I would want. And I just was like, huh, what if she was sitting down? And I was like, oh, but if you're sitting down, it'd be cool if it was on a swing. So I worked off that idea. And so I did that. Okay though, this week I have had a lot of fun. So earlier in the week, I was reading comics online and I was like, man, I love slice of life comics, and I love slice of life comics when it's like kind of Japanese school based. And I was just like, man, I love that stuff, but I feel too embarrassed to make it myself, you know? But then I was thinking, it's like, dang, I just don't let myself have fun. Like, I just work on my bigger stuff, and I'm like, oh, I never let myself just do something even though it seems almost kind of embarrassing. And so that day, and like the rest of the day, and like the rest of the next day, and today actually, I worked on an idea. A wonderful idea. A wonderful, awful idea. So basically what I did was I took a ton of characters from each of my story ideas and I put them in a high school AU. Oh my gosh. And it's so great. It's so much fun. Like, I feel like there's endless amounts of just comics I could make out of it. And I've made 8 comic pages now. And actually the first day I thought up of this plan, I wrote all the names down of the characters I would want in it, and then I crossed out a ton of names because I was like, man, there's too many people, and I wanted it to be like an even number of students so that I could allocate them to different years and different classes. Yes, I thought this deeply about it. Let me actually look in my journal and see the number stuff. Okay, so there's 60 students, and that means there's 20 students per the 3 years, because again, this is like a Japanese high school AU, even though majority of them aren't Japanese, and they don't go by Japanese names, and there's a ton of other stuff, but I'm like, this is fake, it doesn't matter, it's fine. But yeah, so I made a list of all the characters, and I gave them different school years, like what they would be in based on their age, or like, you know, even though I aged most of them down for this AU, I still kind of kept the sort of the balance, I guess, of how old everyone is, because like, I mean, for example, in Jaden Unshaken, Jaden and Amy are like 1 year younger than M, so they're first years and M is a second year. And I made M a second year and not a third year because there are some characters that I have that are actually like a lot older than M, so I was like, oh, it makes sense that they would be in the second year classes. So anyway, I did that, and I included Jane Unshaken, Magical Girl School, Ultimate Journalist, Planetary Creation, Leviathan's Vein, Malady Conflict, Mission Overhaul, and my RP characters and some extra characters. And it's been a lot of fun. I even made a big long list of the clubs that they have, and I think it turned out to be 18 clubs. I actually have to check that. Yeah, 18 clubs and 13 staff members. So yeah, I don't know, it's been a ton of fun. Like, I'll link in the description the first post I made for it, because it's a drawing of all the characters from Class 1A. And Luna from Jane Unshaken is the teacher in that class. I haven't done any comics with her in it yet, but yeah, and Jaden from Jaden Unshaken is the class representative. And there's Pookie and Kiki and Hiro and Amiko from Magical Girl School in that class. And then there's also Parson and Zumi from Ultimate Journalist in that class because, you know, they were in the same class every year. Yeah, I even thought about those kinds of things. Like, I almost made it so that Pookie, Kiki, and Hiro had Arashi in the same class because that's how it was in the show. But I was like, I kind of want Amiko in that class just cause. So I just was like, I can bend the rules just a little. So now Arashi's in the class with Naname. Oh, and by the way, class 2A, Naname is the class representative for, of course, because it's like, I can't forget about that whole thing about her. But yeah, so class 1A with Jaden and all those characters I mentioned, and then there's like one role-playing character that y'all probably wouldn't recognize, and then there's one character from Leviathan's Vein, and I doubt you would recognize her either, but I put her in there because I love her a lot, and that's actually the case for a lot of the characters in this idea that I had. It's like, I love them a lot, so I put them in the idea, but a lot of you guys wouldn't know who they are, so I don't make as many comics about them. I might change that just cuz, but I would have to use the characters you guys already know as like sort of an introduction to the other characters. Like, I just did a cooking club comic last night where it basically introduced a ton of characters that you wouldn't recognize, because there's M and Cam from Jaden Unshaken in that club. I would say a lot of you would recognize M, and you might kind of recognize Cam. She's the blonde with the sunglasses from Jaden Unshaken. So it's like, you kind of would know who she is, but not really, you know. And then I also have, like, 2 role-playing characters in that club, which one is from Class 1A, and that's Valerie. And then another role-playing character is actually a D&D character, and he's Halen, and he's in the cooking club. And then there's a character from Leviathan's Vein that I doubt, like, any of you have seen art for, and that's Saul, and he, like, I made this joke where, okay, so basically in his original story, he has, like, honey crystallized on his skin, like, growing out of it, and it's magic and stuff. And he, like, loves bees and everything. That's, like, kind of his theme. So I made this joke for the cooking club. I worked off that, and it's like, how about he always makes something with honey in cooking club? Like, he always uses honey in everything he makes. I just thought that would be really funny. Like, little stuff like that is what I've been using for the comics, for this amalgamation AU idea. Like, I also just did a comic about, so there's like 3 characters in Class 1A, which is like Amiko, Amy, and Valerie, who are like very cutesy and clumsy and everything, and I was like, oh, I guess they would be friends. I mean, they're basically very similar to each other, even though they have different interests and different skill sets. I just thought they would be friends, and they actually have made really cute friendship. Like, I didn't expect this, but it turned out really good so far. And I made a comic about how they're always like falling over in gym class, and then I made another comic about how they may be always falling in gym class, but they don't get seriously hurt. And Pookie's also in that class, and she's the one who like gets seriously hurt and gets sent to the nurse's office all the time, and I just thought that would be really funny because of how things went in Magical Girl School. So there's just like stuff I've derived from their original stories and made it kind of like a joke in the comic form, and it's a shame because I feel like a lot of these jokes might not really shine through to most people because it's like, I mean, they're all my characters, you know? Like, you wouldn't get all the references. I mean, most of this stuff has been in my brain, or I've posted it, and it's like, I mean, not everyone's gonna look at all my posts. I mean, come on. Seriously. But yeah. So I've been having a ton of fun with this, I call it the Ribbit High School Experience because I don't know what else to call it. And I was thinking, like, I might make either a new Tumblr blog for it, or I might open a, one of those comic site profiles and make it a comic there, but I don't know what site I would want to use because some of my friends use Tapastic, some of my friends use Smackgees, and I'm like, do I use both sites, or what do I do? Like, should I choose one or the other? So I guess, tell me your opinion on that if you care at all, after looking at any comics, if you care about them. I would love to hear about what I should do about that, and yeah. So I've talked a very long time about this idea, and I didn't actually mean to. This is surprising. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Elizabeth, for doing this art trade with me and for doing a video art trade basically with me. It was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate that you enjoy my work enough to want to do something like this. But yeah, I hope actually, I forgot to mention, like, I hope you guys had a great Valentine's Day. It was a lot of fun doing Valentine's Day stuff with my friends and everything. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day and week and year, and bye-bye!